Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. As of this morning, summer officially over. It's time for autumn football, and we're underway on EA Sports. And this opening dynamic kickoff not going to be returned. It'll come out to the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. A run for the first time with Bijan Robinson. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 13 and a very solid opening play for this offense. Well, there you go. This offense off to a strong start this afternoon.
Yeah, with a big run and a first down. That's putting what you practice into play. That's excellent execution to get things started.
And looking to throw, Penix. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. Falcons at 2-0 here to begin the season. And they come in feeling pretty good after back-to-back victories, CD.
And I thought that they played pretty well last week. Their execution, their discipline, their resilience, all on display in that victory.
Now a 2nd and 10. Robinson up the middle. And this one not going anywhere. They get him at the 44 for a gain of just a yard. You look at this Jaguar defense. They've shown the ability to play tough against the pass, currently ranked number 9 in the NFL.
You have to like the way that they've played in the first month. They have to be very proud being a top 10 unit against the pass. Their goal, though, in this one, see if they can improve that ranking.
He's got his running back out of the backfield. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Jaguars' 30. A gain of 26 on the 3rd down conversion. They'll throw with Penix. Nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line. Chad Muma fighting all the way through and getting the sack.
Pressure can come from all over when you're plotting a defensive strategy. On that particular play, it just came from the outside.
So 2nd and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. Looking to throw, Penix. Steps away to his left. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. They'll wind up with positive yardage. It's a gain of 3, but now it's 3rd down.
The plan was clearly to challenge them by sending a blitz on 2nd down, but even the extra guys couldn't catch him in the backfield, though. He doesn't scramble for a first, but he does get the last laugh by evading the blitz and getting beyond the line of scrimmage.
And this turns into a nice gain with a slide at the end. A solid run of 11 there as he tucked it and ran, but he's still short of the marker at its 4th.
That looked great when he first took off because, in my mind, there was room to run and he had the marker in his sight. But I certainly didn't expect him to close so quickly, and neither did he. They got to him just in time, and now that forced him to make a decision with his 4th down call.
In the end, the opening drive, Charles, does yield points. Maybe not the touchdown that they wanted, though.
Yeah, but bottom line, they wanted to get something out of that drive, and they did that. 3 points, they won't turn that down at all.
And no run back forthcoming, so this will come out to the 30. Lawrence bringing the Jaguars up 1st and 10. Right at the 30. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Kind of a fine line when you're setting up the screen. You don't want to throw it too early to have the defense react too quickly, and you definitely don't want to throw it too late, and that way it's not formed perfectly. Got to make sure you hit it just right.
Throw left side complete. That's Hunter. They'll come to the line here needing 9 yards to pick up the first. Now Lawrence changing the play. On third down, he'll drop to throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. Yeah, they will touch him down, but not before he gets the first.
Let's go.
Here's a give to Bigsby. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. You talk about this Falcon defense. They were terrific last week in the win over the Rams.
If I'm playing quarterback against this team, after what I saw on film where they had 5 picks last week, all I'm thinking about is taking care of the football, being very careful with it, and making sure I see my guys open before I throw it.
I might curl up in the fetal position.
That's not a bad idea.
I don't think he's going to do that, though. Now the first carry here for the running back. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. And the line to gain here is the 37 on third down. Now Lawrence. Over the middle into traffic, and that's complete. And he's going to be taken down at the 39, clearly short of the first by a few yards. Here we go on 4th down. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. Just a gain of 3, but they'll certainly take it as they convert on 4th down.
4th and 2 in the NFL, not ordinarily a running down anymore. Usually that ball is moved through the air. They went ahead and gave it to the back, and he ends up picking up the first down. I'm not sure if they fooled him as much as they just did a nice job executing.
Needed 2, and they got 3. This will be a gain of about 8 to the 27-yard line.
And that's something you have to get ready for defensively, because in today's NFL, teams will use their wide receivers on jet sweeps, end arounds. They'll move them back in the backfield and make them running backs. Partner, this was much more of a tap pass, but effective nonetheless.
And I think both guys love it. If you're a quarterback, it's an easy completion. If you're a wide receiver, you get the easy reception. And also, now this is intercepted. He was trying to get it to Davis. And the Falcons force the turnover. They'll take over at their own 27. And that's a ball that he is going to want to keep, his first career interception in the National Football League.
And I love what teams do when that happens. You bring the ball to the sideline, the equipment guy grabs it, he puts a piece of tape on it, writes on it so that you know what it is, and then they tuck it away so that you can have it for later and put it on your mantle. Pretty good deal for him right there. Now he's eager to get back out on the field and get his second one.
And he's finally taken down, and it's a big gain there on what will turn out to be the final play of this first quarter. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. So in Jacksonville territory now. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Operating from the gun, Penix. That's into a crowd and intercepted. Picked by Chad Muma. Down to the 10. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Well, it turns out it's not their offense who gets him on the board first, CD. It's the defense coming through right there with a pick 6.
And I know from experience throughout the week when you go against the offense, you're challenging them all the time. You're letting them know, hey, don't worry about scoring this week. We'll take care of it. We'll get a few pick 6s and score ourselves. You're just kidding? But how about what he just did right there? Laid it out for the rest of the game. We scored. Hey, offense, can you keep up with us?
And we will not have a return. They'll bring this to the 30. About set to begin their next drive. The Falcons offense at the line. Now remember, they were just out here a moment ago through the pick six, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go. Oh, right on the heels of the pick six, another ball intercepted. CD, I know it's just his second year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape, he's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, second year, as you noted, on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
From the 44-yard line, here's second down and 5. Out of the gun, it's Lawrence. Got a man, it's Diaby Brown, complete. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. His first catch of the game, good for 11 and a first down.
Well, that certainly has to feel good, and it's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
And he's going to get forward for a couple before he is banged down hard at the end. He was out there waving his arms, and when you got a quarterback out of the pocket looking for any help, I guess waving the arms is helpful.
It certainly is, because you got to get his attention, because now you're in scramble drill. So everyone's adjusting their routes, finding open space, and he found the right spot for the completion.
Lawrence will throw. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Partner, what we're seeing so far is a defense is certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the sticks.
And he's going to find his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And they will rally and stop him short of the first down. They get him to the ground at the 26. And they'll try and throw for it with Lawrence. A short throw there to Strange. And he will have the first down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. They're able to keep the drive alive 7 yards that time, and the decision to go for it proves to be a good one. Here's Lawrence. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
Second and 10.
Let's go.
From the gun, he'll hand this off. And just a couple yards there down to the 17.
Well, they didn't get a whole lot out of that one, but I think you've got to continue to try and run and try and keep the defense honest.
You mean or also just sit back, dare you to throw it on every down?
Yeah, you get your quarterback hit a lot that way, too.
Out of the huddle now for play number 9 on this drive. This is third down and 8. That's caught. It's Strange, the tight end. And the Jaguars are going to have first and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. They'll try and run for it on first and goal. And he gets him a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4.
Not a whole lot there on first and goal, and that's what you're looking for defensively. You'll certainly live with giving up just a yard or two in this situation.
Second and goal from inside the 5. Lawrence. Quick hitter here. It's complete. And a nice job to break free of one tackle, but it slowed his momentum somewhat, and he's taken down right after. They get only a yard there. Now it's third and goal.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. They're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
Now they empty the backfield and motion the man left. And that is caught. Touchdown, Jacksonville. A great play there. His first touchdown here of the new campaign. And they are able to add on to their advantage. Extra point splits the uprights, and that pushes the lead up to 11. After the touchdown, Cook now to kick this one away. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And he's going to be stopped cold. Good coverage there by the kick team to bring that return to an abrupt halt. And now we'll get a stoppage here. There appears to be an injured Falcon on the field. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury, and we'll be back in a moment. The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out, they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back, but make sure you're selective in doing so. Understand where you want to throw the football and make sure it's open before the ball leaves your hands.
And he'll get this one across the 20, but only up to about the 21. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. Penix working out of the gun here. Looking left side, it's complete. He's got it. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts. So as they talk it over, we step aside. A 1st and 10 here. And, you know, if they could just get 3 out of this, something about whittling it to a 1-score game at half that might provide a psychological boost. And this is incomplete. Oh, it looked like he had a pretty good line on that one. That would have been a big play, but he could not pull it in.
And that is not what you expect from a receiver of his caliber. Sometimes you get a little ahead of yourself. You don't look it in, and all of a sudden it's on the ground. A surprise to all.
Looking left side, and it's complete. And he's going to be touched down, but he's got the first down. They'll go play action here with Penix. Open man is Kyle Pitts, his tight end. And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Kyle Pitts, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Falcons get a late score here in the final minute of the first half. Extra point by York is up and good. And that makes it a 14-10 ball game. York ready, and here we go as he sends this one away. And not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
A 14-yard first down pickup for the Jaguars. Looking to throw, Lawrence. That is caught by a diving Thomas. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40. Another first down as they call his number again. He's got 15 yards here.
Hey, did you have one of those backyards that you had one of those, like, mats or pits like you have for high jumpers? And, you know, you had your friends throw the ball and you tried to make the spectacular catches?
I didn't need a mat.
you just did it with the ground?
Absolutely.
That explains your
Concrete.
toughness. That explains your toughness right there. Because I think that guy was ranged just like you. What a catch.
Here's 2nd and 10. Now Lawrence. He gets it to Thomas. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. Lawrence going to throw again. Oh, the turnover fest continues. Here's another interception. Picked off by A.J. Terrell. And he will be brought down on what will be the final play of this first half. That's it for the first half. 2 more quarters to go. We'll have plenty more to see after the break. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. The Jaguars in possession of the lead, and they will get the football as we are underway in this second half. And we will not see a return of the dynamic kickoff, and the first drive of the second half will commence from the 30-yard line. The Jacksonville offense set to begin their next drive. Hey, Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it, but I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities, and I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there. Second down. Here's Lawrence to throw. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Brown. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. Just his second catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains. Now a 1st and 10 at the 11. Now Lawrence to throw. Flushed out right. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Brenton Strange, an 11-yard touchdown. And the Jaguars take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. No going for 2. They'll kick the point after. It's good, and it's 21-10. After the touchdown, Cook now to kick this one away. And no run back here. That's going to be a touchback, and we'll bring it out to the 30-yard line. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit, because now urgency has to start setting in. You can't go out there and go 3 and out and run the risk of falling behind substantially, but you have to do it without pressing, because pressing, that'll lead you into bigger errors.
Now Penix. That ball caught by the rookie from Georgia. And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45. To the air, Penix. He's got his pass-catching tight end. That's Pitts. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Jaguars' 32-yard line. Here's Penix. This is caught. Touchdown. A great effort there. 32 yards. And the Falcons are back within a score. They'll try and throw with Penix. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Jordan Lewis.
It's interesting that when it comes to two-point conversions, even heavy run teams tend to throw the ball in these situations. In this case, this one was intercepted.
Yeah, they weren't fooled. They were ready for the pass, picked it off. York ready, and here we go as he sends this one away. And no chance to see a return on the dynamic kickoff. They'll move this out to the 30-yard line. Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated, they both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
From the 46, here's a 2nd and 4. Looking to throw. Lawrence. And this is caught. It's Brown. And they'll get this to the 30-yard line before crossing over out of bounds. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down. And they'll run on the inside handoff. And he's going to get this one down to the 30. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Oh, there's plenty of traffic waiting for him up the middle. But give him credit, he tried barreling through anyway. They're fortunate to get a yard out of that one.
2nd and 9. Back to throw. Lawrence. Off to Thomas on the left side. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3. A short throw there to Strange. And he picks up the first down yardage as he takes this one down to the 15. And here's a handoff out of the gun. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. A great play there. His first rushing touchdown on the year. And the Jags will add on to their lead here in the final minute of the 3rd. Point after, right down the middle. And it gives his guys a 12-point advantage. After the touchdown, Cook now to kick this one away. And no run back forthcoming, so this will come out to the 30. The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. A strong showing their last time out. They scored the touchdown, but Charles, they look up and they're still down double digits, so you feel like just to keep pace, this drive probably needs to end in the end zone as well.
Yeah, and I think the best move for them is to not worry about how far they are down on the scoreboard, but to just remember the last drive and how it ended. Go ahead and try and repeat that. Then you can look at the scoreboard and see where this game is.
A play fake. Now Penix. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. This is caught inside the 15. Then he will finally be taken down, but how about that play? It's a big one. Back now here on EA Sports. It's the Falcons. They'll have the football, but trailing on the scoreboard as we get set to begin the 4th. 1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. They'll run with Robinson. And he'll get this one back to the 5-yard line, but no further than that. No gain on the play that time, and it sets up 2nd and goal. Looking to throw, Penix. And this is caught for a Falcon touchdown. Darnell Mooney, a 5-yard touchdown. And the Falcons have made it a one-score game again here in the fourth. Extra point by York is up and good. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter. York ready, and here we go as he sends this one away. And we will not have a return. They'll bring this to the 30. The Jacksonville offense set to begin their next drive. Their lead back down to one score after the touchdown a moment ago. First down's a must on this drive as they start out here 1st and 10. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. That play going for 16 yards to start the drive. First down. One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. And he's over midfield and into Falcon territory. 88 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long. If you can keep getting gains like that, Charles, with the lead here in the fourth quarter, I mean, keep running it, right?
No doubt about it, but what the offense coordinator has to do is understand they're going to continue to stack the line of scrimmage. What runs do you have in your arsenal that'll work against a stacked box and continue to move the ball?
Well, we looked at each other right when he flinched. We knew that that flag was coming.
Yeah, offsides, easy call, mark off the 5, and keep it moving.
After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he fights forward for a modest 2-yard gain, 2nd down.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground, but I think the play gets made by the defensive front because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
And that's going to be good for another first down as the tackle's made at the Falcons' 27-yard line. On play action, Lawrence. That's caught by Munn. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 11 more yards that go around, a first down as well.
These guys are running offense like you drive. The pedal is down, stomp down. How about that? Back-to-back completions. They are rolling.
So much for being conservative and running that football. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Able to stay in bounds, so the clock keeps rolling. This defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in, and all you're doing when you talk to your defensive teammates is first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
This is something you got to be wary of defensively. I mean, just because they're in the mode of trying to burn some clock doesn't mean they won't pass it. And they got good. And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence, his 3rd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Jaguars look like they're about to put an end to their 2-game losing streak as they add on to their lead. After the touchdown, Cook now to kick this one away. And not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. And you figure after giving up that last touchdown, they trail by 2 scores here in the fourth quarter. This drive becomes very critical. He's got a man complete. And all the way down to the 9. It's a big play there for Atlanta. 61 yards. Here's 1st and goal. And looking to throw, Penix. And he's going to be dropped. Back at the 15-yard line. Not the 1st and goal play they drew up. Multiple defenders in to bring him down to the ground. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. Got to assume this defense will be charging again here. It's 2nd and 15. They'll throw with Penix. And this is caught now for a late touchdown. So hold everything here. This one's not over yet. Still an important piece of business to take care of, the extra point. And this is back to a 5-point game. York ready, and here we go as he sends this one away. And he is out of bounds here on the return. Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. And this game not quite over yet. And we'll likely see them take all 3 timeouts defensively, so they can't just kneel this one out. They're going to have to try to run a few plays.
You're exactly right. They've got to get a first down and make them use up all their timeouts in order to feel like they have this one in hand. That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
Well, Lawrence going to move them around a bit. That one looks like he'll throw here. Eluding the pressure right. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. They'll wind up losing 10 on the sack, and it'll lead to a 3rd and long.
He's known for his legs and his fancy footwork. Was not getting much of a chance to use it here. The defense continued to hold the upper hand by bringing him down on that play.
And that is incomplete. And sensing the momentum maybe changing here a little bit, Charles.
Yeah, this defense is going to get off the field quickly, and their offense got them a touchdown last time they had the ball, so they should get another shot.
Cook now on to punt as he gets this one away. And this one sails out of bounds. I think it'll be inside the 25. It will. 24-yard line is where they'll spot it. This is 1st and 10. Back to throw. He's got Mooney. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Plenty of time and 2 timeouts still at their disposal. 1st and 10 here. That's going to be caught by Pitts. And he has a big gain inside the 40 before being dropped.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
He'll look to throw. This is caught by Robinson. And he is going to get out of bounds with the first down. So that's going to double their pleasure for sure. They get the first and save a timeout.
Now that is the 2-minute drill at its very best. Get the completion, get a big chunk of yardage, and then get out of bounds to save those timeouts. You cannot do it any better than that.
He takes it across for the touchdown, and they've taken the lead late in the final minute of the 4th.
Wow, wow.
What an outstanding drive right there to take the lead, and also, Charles, didn't leave their opposition with a whole lot of time on the clock.
Yeah, I like the way that you're viewing this because they did a tremendous job to put themselves in a position to win, but they can't celebrate just yet. They've got to clamp down on any big plays and force them to use up those timeouts without making any headway.
And no run back here. That's going to be a touchback, and we'll bring it out to the 30-yard line. They'll come up 1st and 10 here. Back to throw. Lawrence. Pass complete, Thomas. And he'll get him a first down up past the 40 as the clock ticks on. Now a timeout called for by the offense as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in the game. Here's Lawrence. He completes it to Hunter. Now the Jags will use the second of their timeouts. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. Well, this offense still has the one timeout here, remember. 1st and 10. From the gun, they'll try to run it. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
They'll come up now, 2nd and 9. And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And not much running room. Down to the 32. And we will get a timeout with 2 ticks left. So now this one's going to rest on the foot of their second-year kicker. Falcons going to use their 3rd and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. And his kick is good. From 49 yards away, he nailed it. And the Jaguars have won the game. Well, this was a very close ball game at halftime, Charles, but in the second half, that offense kind of kicked things into another gear, and they were able to pull away for the victory.
And, Brandon, I think they're the type of team that just looked in the mirror and said, hey, ton of pressure on, but we're the type of team that can flat out handle it. They stood up with confidence, and made it happen for a victory.
So for Jacksonville, they're into the win column now as they move to 1-2 on the young season. And they'll get another road date next week. Meanwhile, for Atlanta, they suffered defeat for the first time as they dropped to 2-1. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports.